Hey guys, it's Jill.
And Will.
Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be showing you a copycat version of one of my favorite dishes from the Cheesecake Factory, which is the lemon herb Parmesan chicken. Every time I go, except for the last time, because the last time, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who made it, but it was nasty. But every other time before that, I've gone, this is like, I literally could drink the sauce, and I told him, please try to recreate this for me because I want this sauce like every day. So we are going to recreate this for you guys. If you guys don't know, we are starting a new cooking segment series on my channel, and William is going to be joining me, and he's the expert. I am just the one over here. I don't know.
She helps.
I literally just stand here.
No, she helps.
Can I help? Can I do anything? But yeah, so we are going to be doing this, and if you guys are interested in, let us know what you guys want to see. Comment down below. We will be more than happy. What I want for this series is high volume, high protein, lower calorie kind of meals. I'm on a weight loss journey, trying to lose weight. Not trying. I need to stop saying that. I am losing weight, and I'm trying to find really tasty recipes that are going to satisfy me physically and mentally. And this is something that is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to stop rambling about that. But if you guys will help us out and comment, like, and subscribe if you are new here, if I hadn't said that already. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the ingredients. And we're going to show you how to make it, of course. So you're going to need some chicken. How many was this, like?
That was 6 chicken breasts. And then used one of the flat side mallets and just put them inside. Here's a tip, okay? Put them inside a zip top bag. Put the actual chicken in an open zip top bag. Kind of, lay it flat, and then use your mallet, not the hammer style one, but the flat mallet. And you just pound them to, 1/4 inch, and it'll spread out. And then you take it out, put it on a plate, and then you keep going until you've finished them all off. It helps save some mess if you pound it while it's inside of a thick freezer zip top bag. So we've got 6 chicken breasts. We've got some minced garlic, breadcrumbs, basil, shredded Parmesan, white wine for the sauce, chicken broth for the sauce, and then we've got 1 lemon zest, the zest of 1 lemon. We've done another chiffonade of some basil, and then about 1 small shallot is there. We're also going to be using the juice from the lemon to help finish off the sauce. Okay, so I think where we're going to start is actually with the sauce. So to get that going, we'll be over here.
Yeah, we're going to come over here, so we will see you guys in a second.
We sweated the shallots. We put in some white wine. We're cooking the alcohol out of the white wine. So one of the things that we were talking about just a second ago was the fact that how do you know when it's all gone? You're not going to get 100% of it out, but try to get the majority of it out. But usually 3 to 5 minutes of good steady bubbling should cook out all of the alcohol. Alcohol has a higher boiling point than water, so it boils out fairly quickly. And then we've got our garlic in here. So about a teaspoon of garlic. It was 1 small shallot, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we're just kind of getting that alcohol out of the wine because we want a white wine sauce. And then if you like it thicker, because this is a loose sauce, it'll be very liquid, you make a slurry out of cornstarch. So a little container with cornstarch, like a teaspoon, put in some cold water, and then you shake it, and then you pour that into a warm liquid, and that'll thicken it. That's how you thicken gravies and other things too. You could do this very similarly. So I'm thinking that this is going to have a heavy wine taste, but it should have all the alcohol cooked out of it by now because it's been going for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start adding the chicken stock.
So how much wine did you add, and how much chicken stock did you add?
That was a half of this little tiny bottle, and I don't know how many ounces is in one of these little bottles. Maybe half a cup of wine. Yeah.
So half a cup of wine.
Yeah.
And
then that was about right there was probably close to half a cup, a little over half a cup.
half a cup of chicken broth.
And that's where we'll start, because what we're doing is we're just getting it down to taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start it there. Almost certainly going to need more salt and pepper, things like that, but we're just trying to get the flavor down as best we can so that we know what we like. And the all-important handy-dandy tasting spoon. Everybody needs a tasting spoon while you're doing it. The most important tool in the kitchen is your tongue. Everything else.
That's true.
Tongue is first.
I really never have a tasting spoon.
Second is hands. So when you're cutting, moving, doing things, like people have these fancy mixers and things they do their stuff, but your hands are really great tools. So the two best kitchen utensils you have are on, like, built in. You were born with them. And then I didn't taste any pronounced onion, so I'm gonna add some onion powder in here because we had the shallot, but I want a little bit more. How much onion powder did I just add? I don't know. Let's say a quarter teaspoon.
Yeah, I always say, like, when it comes to like garlic powder, onion powder, because I'm a big recipe girl, but I have learned as I've been cooking for a while and whatnot, that I just have to measure with my heart, kind of learn like what I like, what I don't like. So I'm a big proponent of measure with your heart, especially when it comes to, because everyone has different tastes. And I see a lot of people, like, on cooking videos too. Well, I don't like such and such, and I don't like such and such. If you don't like something specific in this recipe or anyone's recipe that you see online, feel free. Like, it is your kitchen. Leave what you want, take what you don't want, leave out what you don't want. So you cook it how you want based on your dietary restrictions, preferences, your taste buds, all of that. So there might be a recipe that you like and you're like, oh, well, I don't really love, onion or whatever. Then you can just leave it out. Or substitute it with something that you think you might like. So just because a recipe is written, or, you're watching a recipe, doesn't mean that it's like set in stone. That's the way you have to make it.
Yeah. Feel free to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
That was
and
good.
There's a lot of acidity this is why you taste and add in batches.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a bit of acidity from the Chardonnay, because grapes naturally are going to have some acidity.
Mm-hmm.
So it does call for some lemon, but because that Chardonnay has that much acid in it,
mm-hmm.
we're not going to do like a half a lemon or whatever. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in there just to get a little bit of lemon in there, but not much. You can tell that was
maybe like half a teaspoon.
That was like a tablespoon
Or a
at best.
tablespoon?
Yeah, that was like a tablespoon at best. And that's because of this particular wine, it's the grape flavor that it had left behind was a little tart because it's a drier.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where we decided to, or where I'm deciding to stick it. And if you put it in there and you find that now it's too sour, feel free to add more chicken stock, right?
Yeah.
And then go from there. Like there's nothing wrong with testing it out and seeing what you like and what you don't like. And then if you add a little bit too much of whatever in terms of liquids go, like too much lemon juice or too much whatever, you can add chicken stock and kind of dilute it out a bit. All right. And so now we have to take a step back and move back to the counter, because we've got to prep the chicken, get it frying, and then do the kind of wrap up from there.
Yeah, the breading and stuff. The Cheesecake Factory chicken has like a very light breading on it. And I asked them, I was like, did they air fry it? It's like, probably not in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But if you want to at home to save a few extra calories as well, you can air fry it. But we're going to pan fry it. So you just took some breadcrumbs and then some Parmesan cheese, right?
Yes, this is, seasoned breadcrumbs, which means it's got some herbs in it.
Mm-hmm.
I put in a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese, the same Parmesan cheese that, you get it from a grocery store, whatever your favorite is.
A tablespoon or two?
Yeah, it really wasn't
Yeah, it
much,
wasn't
just
much.
a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I did put in a little bit of onion powder to the thing, just to bring some seasoning to it. How much was it? I don't know. I just sprinkled a little bit on top.
Measure with your heart.
Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is, this is what I always do. When I salt meat, I don't salt the breading. I salt the meat itself, because then you'll actually have the meat stay on, or the meat will be salted and it won't be at the bottom of the breading mix. I want it on the meat itself because salt is really important for flavor. And then we'll bread it and put it over here.
Do you want me to get you a glove?
No, I think we're okay for now.
Okay.
I won't be that long.
Okay.
But trick is one hand dirty, one hand clean, right? So I've got to be able to work this with one hand dirty, one hand clean, because again, I need to salt each piece of meat.
Do you want me to salt? Or you got it?
I think I can get it.
Okay.
And we're just getting a decent amount of salt. Oops, there's a chicken tender that fell off. All right. And then that chicken tender is actually in the way now.
Do you want me to get it?
Nope.
Okay.
The beauty of tongs. And if you do have a little piece that kind of falls off or whatever, were too vigorous pounding it, that can be your tester piece. So that's the one that you use to see how hot the pan is. Does it have the right flavor? I've been known in the past to take pieces of tester, and then that's how I'll decide, did I season it enough, especially with hamburger meats and things like that. If I'm making meatballs, I'll cook a little bit before I cook the whole batch, before I portion out the whole batch. Then I can test it and taste it and say, yeah, that does have enough salt and pepper or whatever else I wanted it, or no, it doesn't. Good thing I didn't cook it all.
Yeah.
Right? Then you're stuck with
that's
it.
Smart. Okay, so I always thought that whenever you breaded, you had to have an egg or some kind of liquid, egg whites, milk. What is the purpose of breading? Because I didn't know that you could just do just your breading with nothing. What is the purpose if you're doing egg versus not doing egg? Or milk, or I think that's usually the egg milk.
We're out of salt.
Kind of thing. Oh, it's gone?
Yeah.
I have more over here.
So that's a good question. There's some nerdy things that happen behind the scenes when it comes to the addition of egg, because there's a protein. And so what's happening with the protein addition, and you get protein from milk too, right? What's happening with the protein addition is that it does sort of help things stick, but actually breading sticks to dry meats better than it sticks to wet, right? I mean,
that's why it always clumps up in your hand too.
That's why it always clumps up in your hand. Yeah. So you're actually going to get better adhesion with something that's a little dry. But the protein is important because it helps with the browning of the breadcrumbs, which we're doing a very light dusting. I mean, that's barely any breadcrumbs on it to begin with. Also, if you're doing the eggs or egg and milk mixture, things of that nature, that creates, I don't know how to call it, like little globs, because it'll mix, the breading will mix with the liquid.
Yeah.
And so that creates little globs, and those globs, when they're deep fried or fried, become extra super crunchy, big pieces of crunch, right? Which is why when you're making like fried chicken, you're making fried chicken, you do cornflakes and breading, and then you have the egg and everything else going on, and then you get super extra crunchy chicken.
Okay.
Which is the goal.
Yeah, I always, whenever I do breading, which I don't enjoy it but
it's a mess.
Yeah. And I just don't like doing chicken like this. But I never knew that you could do just dry like this. I always thought that you had to add an egg or, I think it was Rachel Ray that always does like egg milk. And she always would say, because I did watch a lot of Rachel Ray growing up, but she would always say go in this order. She did that a lot.
Yeah, dredging, when you're dredging, you go wet to dry to wet to dry. You always end on dry, right? And then when you're dredging in wet and dry, which is what you're doing when you have like egg, that's considered a wet. They call it club hand. So what you're trying to avoid is going in with a wet hand, then using the same hand to dip into a big thing of flour. And hey, guess what? Now you've got club hands. So you use one hand for wet, and then you use one hand for dry, and it minimizes the amount of club hand you get.
Yeah.
All right. And then that is that. I'm going to get the pan heated up, and we'll migrate over here, and we'll see you in a second. All right. So got a pan of oil over here. It's shallow fry. We're not doing a deep fry. So a couple tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom. Maybe I put too much in, but we're swirling it around to make sure we can get a non-stick coating. The goal isn't to get it super crazy fried, but to get it well cooked, right? And so I don't need too much oil, but I want just enough so that it gets brown. And since we're doing it very thin, we have a very thin piece of chicken, hopefully it won't take that long, so we can keep it on a relatively high heat. This one is set to 7 out of 9. And once I feel like that's hot enough, we'll go ahead and add in a piece of chicken. You want it fairly hot, but not scorch the olive oil hot. Olive oil does have a flavor, so if you're not a fan of olive oil, you have peanut oil. If you're not a fan of peanuts, because maybe you have allergies or whatever, you can always go with canola oil or plain vegetable oil, whatever suits you best. So I think that is plenty hot. This is dangerous, but if you're up for it, you can do it. I take the pan to the meat, then I put the meat on the heat, right? And then I bring the meat back to the heat. And that's how I do it. But whatever way works for you is the way that I recommend you do it. So we're just going to let that fry. What I'm looking for as it cooks is I want to see that the meat becomes more opaque, especially around the edges. So once I see it's not looking raw up around the topish, right? So it starts to come over those sides. I'm reducing the heat down to about half. Once I see that the cook has started coming up the sides, I know that it's pretty well done. And I'm not gonna use, this is olive oil, so it'll burn the oil as it sits in the heat for too long. So I'll do 2 pieces, and then I'll wipe down the pan, and I'll put a little bit more oil in it and go again. And we're just looking for a good solid crisping. Again, I'm looking for the whites, as you can see, like right there. I'm looking for those whites to come up the side all the way around. Because once I've seen the white come up the edges, all the way around the edges, I know that probably it's cooked close to halfway through. Once I'm about halfway through, then I can flip. If there's a little bit of sticking, that's okay. Remember, we did add cheese to it, so the cheese may stick a little bit. But you'll see me shimmy the pan every once in a while, because that'll help get the oil around and maybe break it free a bit.
Do you already have a plate to put the cooked chicken on?
I do. Okay. And so we're golden brown and delicious on that side. And remember, I was looking for that white to come up the side, and I saw that happen, so I know that that one's good to go. And I'll have a plate to evacuate the cooked chicken to. And this one, literally 2.5, 3 minutes. I won't be able to see that it's cooking up the side, but I'll kind of peek down at the edge of it and look here.
Okay.
Right?
What kind of tips can you give for those of us like me that are scared to cook chicken or scared to cook with chicken, so therefore we end up overcooking it all the time, so it's just not even good?
Okay. Actually, what we should do is do one of those tips now. So we're going to turn an oven on to 350. We're going to get out a baking sheet.
Okay.
Put some tin foil on it, and every time we think we're pretty much done with one, we're going to throw it onto the baking sheet. We're going to put that baking sheet in the oven, right?
Okay.
And the trick is that if you cook on the stovetop, right, you're not sure if you've cooked all the way through. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you cook all the way through, then you may have overcooked it, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But it's perfectly acceptable to decide to finish it in the oven,
Okay.
right? So how do I test if it's how cooked it is? Cut through one, and if you see some raw,
Mm-hmm.
like that's actually fairly raw, it needs to go for a little bit more.
Okay.
But that's part of why you can stick it in the oven, right? And like this piece I know is cooked, so you can give that a taste if you like.
You guys, look at this beauty right here. I'm going to show a close-up of it so you guys can see an overview, but it looks amazing. We forgot the sauce. Or are you working on that right now?
That's what I'm getting ready.
Okay. So what was I going to say? Oh, we also made risotto to go aside, as a side to this as well. So if you guys want that recipe, if it's not up already, it will be up. And then once it's up, I will put it in the description box. And we also made a high protein, low carb, gourmet garlic chaffle, which was delicious. So we will also link that down below as well. So he's just going to add the sauce and we're going to do a little taste test, which is my favorite part. And then we're going to sit down and actually eat. You have never really had this, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so like I said, it's my favorite dish at the Cheesecake Factory. I can like literally drink that sauce, so let's see. Oh man, that was good.
I like it.
I would
I like
say
it.
it's pretty dang similar.
I like it.
Like that is really good. I want to try some asparagus. You put lemon on it?
Yeah.
That's really good. And a mushroom?
They'll have lemon too. I did them in the same pan together.
Oh man. I've never put lemon on mushroom.
Pretty good.
That's good. Do you want to try those?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I tasted them.
Y'all, this is absolutely delicious. Like I said, we will try the best, we'll try to the best of our abilities to come up with the macros and the measurements and everything. And we'll list it in the description box down below. Let us know what you guys would like to see. Also, don't forget to comment what your preferred filming method is. Do you want to see our faces as we're talking? Do you just want to see the pan? Is it okay? How long do you want these videos? Do you want them quick, short, to the point? Do you like our banter? Do you like his knowledge and his, I guess, teaching of like what he's doing as he's doing it? Let us know in the comments down below because, like I said, these are brand new videos for us. We are kind of trying to get an idea of what you guys want to see and how you want to see it. So, also, if you have any recipe ideas, let us know in the comments down below as well. With that, we're gonna go eat dinner because we're hungry, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.